These lessons could completely transform the way you think about fitness. Here are the 24 fitness secrets I learned in 2024 that I wish I knew sooner. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Always Active podcast, the show that empowers you to lead an active lifestyle. I'm your host Katie, and in this episode I'll be sharing the 24 biggest lessons I learned on my fitness journey in 2024. 2024 has been quite the transformative year on my fitness journey, and I learned so much along the way. These lessons are going to shape my approach to fitness going forward, and they can really inspire you no matter what stage you're at on your fitness journey. Along with sharing these lessons, I'm also going to be providing you with some guidance on how to perform your own end-of-year reflection. So be sure to stick around to the end for that, and I'll also be providing a downloadable guide filled with self-reflection journal prompts. So without further ado, let's get psyched to move. The first category of lessons that I'll be sharing are mindset-related lessons. Starting with lesson number 1, which is there's way more to life than fitness. I'm starting with this lesson to set the stage because today I'll be sharing tons of different lessons that are all related to fitness. Fitness is definitely a big part of my life, but it's not the only part. It's just one of the many elements that helped to contribute to my life in 2024. While I was preparing for this episode, I listed out all of my different fitness accomplishments throughout the year. And in addition to these wins, I realized that there were so many other memories that I formed and milestones that I achieved that were completely unrelated to fitness. And so when you do your own end of year reflection, I would encourage you to yes, reflect on your fitness accomplishments, but don't solely reflect on your fitness journey. Consider the full picture, your career, your relationships, where you traveled, and remember that fitness is just one part of your very interesting and multifaceted life. Lesson number 2 is to embrace the unexpected. One of the most important lessons I learned this year is to not be so rigid with my goals and to be open to opportunities that I might not have even imagined for myself. When doing my reflection, I realized that I actually didn't achieve many of the goals that I set out for myself at the beginning of the year, and many of my biggest accomplishments were things that I didn't even set as goals at the beginning of the year. Completing my first HYROX was definitely one of my biggest accomplishments, and I totally signed up for this on a whim. I didn't even know what HYROX was at the beginning of 2024, and this was something that was definitely not on my 2024 bingo card. And so the point in me sharing this lesson is to tell you that you shouldn't waste your time setting goals. Obviously, I'm joking because goals are actually pretty important and they give you direction. But thinking of the HYROX example, once I decided that I wanted to sign up, then I set the goal to complete it and created an action plan to achieve this goal. So I encourage you to set intentions and values to help guide your actions and be open to embracing any opportunity that comes your way that is aligned with these values. Lesson number 3 is when in doubt, pivot. Just because you start something doesn't mean you have to finish it, and it is okay to quit. Learn when to recognize when something isn't working and then pivot to something new, rather than just pushing through and burning out through something that isn't aligned with you anymore. In March, I started Natasha Ocean's Move program, and after a few weeks, I started to dread going to the gym. I wasn't looking forward to my workouts, and I realized that this program didn't align with my goals, so if I continued going on with it, I was going to burn out. And so I quit while I was ahead, and I pivoted to do something else for the time being. Recognize when you're unmotivated, and then pivot to a different form of exercise or a different style of training. You don't have to stick to a goal that you no longer want to do, and you can set different goals. Quitting doesn't make you a failure, it's just a sign of self-awareness that you are able to recognize when something isn't working for you. So stay flexible and be open to changing your goals and routines. Lesson number 4 is to show up unmotivated. Falling into slumps is inevitable, but this doesn't have to break you and completely derail your progress. After I quit the Move program, I was in a slump for several months before finding HYROX and starting to train for it. And I really just went through the motions at the gym. There was no structured routine, I wasn't doing any progressive overload, but I was still showing up. The lesson here is that you can continue to show up even when your motivation is low. Just simply lower the bar for your expectations for yourself, because doing a lower quality workout is so much better than doing nothing at all. So when you fall into a slump, just focus on maintaining your existing routines and habits rather than forcing yourself to pursue a challenging goal. So this leads to the next lesson, lesson number 5, which is that motivation ebbs and flows. Your motivation may be low for a brief period, but it will come back. You will regain your spark after a period of being in a slump. Like I said, I regained my motivation when I started training for HYROX, And to be honest, I would say that I still wasn't super motivated at this time, but it did help to provide a new spark. And then I felt like I really fully gained my motivation several months later after completing High Rocks and when I started training with the Ladder app. I can confidently say now that I've emerged from these slumps feeling stronger and more motivated than ever. It's absolutely okay to go through a period of having low motivation, and when you take a break from one challenge, it can help to create space to help find new motivation by pursuing a new goal. So just trust the process and know that you will emerge from this slump feeling better and more motivated. Lesson number 6 is that consistency over time is more important than perfection. The average of your actions is way more important than being perfect every single day. And in fact, it's not even possible to be perfect every single day. You might remember I did a 10,000 steps a day challenge back in the summer. And during this challenge, I walked about 320,000 steps over a period of 30 days, which averaged to just over 10,000 steps a day. But what's important to note is that I did not hit my 10,000 steps a day goal every single day. On most days, I hit just over 10,000. On a few days, I hit well under 10,000. And then on a few days, I hit significantly over 10,000. And so the days where I exceeded 10,000 helped to balance out the days where I fell short, demonstrating that being consistent over time was way more important than hitting my goal perfectly every single day. And if you'd like to hear more about my experience doing this challenge, be sure to listen to episode 12. So to really put this into perspective, I want you to imagine a bar graph. And this is something that I learned through the Fitbit app where it shows my stats. What you think success would look like would be hitting 10,000 steps every single day. So 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all throughout the week. But what success actually looks like is a bar graph that fluctuates every single day. On most days, you're hitting over 10,000, and on some days, you're falling short. The overarching lesson here is to build flexibility into your habits. View progress over weeks and months rather than focusing on every single day. And remember that sustainable habits are built based on being consistent, not being rigid. Lesson number 7 is to place mind over muscle. Mental toughness is key, and learning to push through discomfort is going to help you grow. There were many occasions where I learned this year, from cold plunging to winning a Survivor-style balance competition to running a 5K race on literally 0 hours of sleep and completing my High Rocks race with extreme calf cramps that I've never experienced anything like it for the last several kilometers of the race. Your body can often persevere when your mind wants to quit. You are inevitably going to face discomfort, but you need to be able to push through in challenging times. Of course, also recognize when it is appropriate to rest, because sometimes that is the case. But in many cases, your body is way more capable than what you think. You can do hard things. Focus on building mental resilience on your fitness journey, and it will carry through to all other areas of your life. Lesson number 8 is that aesthetic goals and self-love can coexist. Just placing a little bit of a trigger warning, skip through to the next lesson if this is a sensitive topic for you. My learning from this year is that pursuing aesthetic goals is not inherently a bad thing. When done from a place of self-love, goals to change your physical appearance absolutely can coexist with a healthy relationship with fitness. In the past, I had always avoided aesthetic goals because it had caused me to feel insecure, and so I shifted to athletic and strength-based goals. And this was hugely important for helping me to build my confidence in a positive relationship with fitness. But now I'm in the right headspace where I can pursue aesthetic goals from a place of self-love, not from a place of punishment or hating myself, but from a place of already accepting myself as is. The program that I'm currently following in the Ladder app is very much aesthetic focused, but I'm enjoying the process and I'm keeping a healthy mindset. And I'm not solely focusing on aesthetic goals as my motivation. I'm remembering all of the other well-established benefits of exercise that I have learned up until this point on my fitness journey. And so my takeaway here is that step 1 really is to establish a healthy relationship with fitness, and this will take time. But once you're ready and you feel like you have this healthy relationship with fitness, that's when you can approach aesthetic goals from a place of self-love. Remember that wanting to build your confidence should come from already appreciating yourself as you are. Okay, the next set of lessons are training-related tips, starting with lesson number 9, which is to put in the reps. If you want to get better at something, you need to put in the work. And as the 10,000 hour rule states, you need to practice a skill for 10,000 hours if you want to master it. Now, this rule is debated. I'm not going to get into that, but you get the point. You need to put in time if you want to get better. This year, I feel like I really unlocked some new skills and got much much better at golf. Notice I said better and not good because I still don't think I'm very good. But in order to improve, I had to put in the reps. I went for many sessions at the driving range, the golf simulator, and even a few rounds of golf at beginner courses. And I know that if I want to continue getting better, I'm going to have to continue to practice. One of my goals for 2025 is to golf on a full-length non-beginner course, so stay tuned to see if I achieve this. So if there's a skill that you want to learn, commit to practicing regularly and make sure that you find enjoyment and fulfillment in the journey, trusting that you will get better with time and with effort. Lesson number 10 is that strength is built with progressive overload. This is similar to the last lesson, but this time specifically in the context of training at the gym. Progressive overload referring to gradually increasing your difficulty over time. This year, I got my first unassisted wide grip pull-ups after years of trying and failing. And the reason I finally achieved this goal this year is because I made it a priority and I practiced progressive overload. I was consistently practicing assisted and unassisted pull-ups as part of Natasha Ocean's build program at least once a week for several months in a row. And with time, I finally got my pull-ups. And after finishing this program, I stopped practicing my pull-ups, and guess what? I can't do pull-ups anymore. So this really highlights the importance of progressive overload and consistency. If you have strength goals that you want to achieve, commit to progressive overload. Gradually increase your weight, your reps, or your intensity, make it a priority, and be consistent. And if you do this, you will get your pull-ups or whatever strength goal you have in 2025. Lesson number 11 is to adopt a hybrid routine. Embrace hybrid training to be a well-rounded athlete focusing on strength, endurance, and flexibility. I fully embraced all the ways to be active in 2024, including weightlifting, yoga, Pilates, golf, soccer, running, pickleball, hiking, group fitness classes, running. Did I say that already? I did lots of different activities is the point. And I definitely experienced the benefits from training in this way. So my encouragement to you is to add at least one new form of activity into your routine in 2025, because there are so many benefits to incorporating this variety in your routine. And if you'd like help with building your own hybrid training routine, be sure to download my free guide, which will be linked in the show notes. Lesson number 12 is that stretching is essential, not optional. Flexibility training is essential for recovery, performance, and relaxation, and so it's essential that you incorporate these kinds of activities into your routine. This year, I had a hot yoga membership for the first time, and I consistently attended at least one yoga class every single week. Before this year, I had never been this consistent with attending yoga classes, and I definitely saw so many improvements to my strength and flexibility. Obviously, you don't have to commit to signing up for a yoga membership, but definitely find some stretching activities that you can incorporate into your routine. There are tons of free options available online, and I challenge you to incorporate stretching activities into your routine, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. Okay, we're halfway through now. Lesson 13 is once an athlete, always an athlete. If you were an athlete growing up and you no longer play your sport, a great way to reignite your spark would be to sign up for and train for a fitness competition and truly train like an athlete again. I would say that up until this year, I had never truly felt like an athlete since playing competitive soccer growing up. Last year, I started incorporating athletic training into my routine through Natasha Ocean's CUT program, but this year I fully embraced this style of training in preparation for Hyrox, incorporating running and lots of functional exercises into my routine. I really felt like an athlete competing again, and it was very empowering. And after this experience, I definitely plan to sign up for more competitions in the future. So if you're missing out on the thrill of competition, sign up for some sort of fitness competition, and this will help to motivate you and give you a clear goal while training. The next category of lessons is all about making fitness fun. Lesson number 14 is to never stop playing. Embrace your inner child and incorporate playful activities into your fitness routine. I did lots of different fun activities this year, from celebrating my birthday at a trampoline park with my friends to learning how to play pickleball, and it really reminded me how much fun fitness can be. It doesn't even need to feel like working out. So do the activities you enjoyed growing up, invite your friends to join you. Remember that fitness can be fun, and this is a very powerful way to stay active. Lesson number 15 is friends who lift together, stay together. Fitness is way more fun with friends, and working out together helps to boost motivation and accountability. I would say that probably at least half of my workouts this year were done with a buddy, and this helped me to stay consistent even when my motivation was low. And it helped my friends to stay consistent when their motivation was low too. And through this, we got to share so many memories and laughs and accomplishments together. So I encourage you to share the joy of fitness with other people. You can teach and learn from your friends. Remember, we are not meant to do this journey alone. So embrace the support and encouragement from others. Lesson number 16 is variety is the spice of an active life. Try new classes and activities to incorporate more variety into your routine and keep things exciting. In this year alone, I probably tried more classes than I ever have before. I did box hit, altitude training, F45, reformer Pilates, and I tried out using ClassPass. This kept me motivated and it helped me to realize how many different options are out there. It taught me that there really is something for everyone. So in the next year, I would encourage you to explore your options. There are lots of different ways that you can try out new classes without having to commit financially, whether it's doing a free trial or a reduced price intro offer, or going with your friend through a guest pass. Be open-minded because you never know what might stick. Lesson number 17 is to explore more. Fitness is not confined to indoor activities, and there are plenty of opportunities to get active outdoors. And through this, you can experience the benefits of exercise while also relaxing and taking in the stunning scenery that nature has to offer. This lesson actually came up because, yes, I explored a few trails in 2024, but I didn't do as much hiking as I would have liked to, and I've actually done way more in the past. And so it reminded me that I want to do more hikes in 2025. So get out there, embrace the beauty of nature through outdoor activities. There are probably way more hiking trails to explore in your area than you think. Lesson number 18. Sometimes losing isn't everything, it's the only thing. The lesson here is that there's so much more to doing sports than winning. And I learned this because losing was the only thing I experienced this year. My soccer team came in very last place. We didn't win a single game. And yeah, it was disappointing. It's not fun if you're never winning. But I came up with the mantra, fun, friendship, and fitness, to remind my team that that was the reason we were there. We're playing recreational soccer. We're not professional soccer players. And I really think this helps because even though we were losing, I would say that we still had a good time for the most part. So if you've been debating signing up for a sports league, just go ahead and do it. You don't have to be good, and it could be a really fun opportunity. And remember that win or lose, focus on having fun, building friendships, and improving your fitness. Moving on to a few practical lessons I learned this year. Lesson number 19 is to save your money. You can save on fitness memberships and equipment through Black Friday and Boxing Day deals. Last Boxing Day, I got a discounted hot yoga membership. So I got 50 classes and they came out to $5 a class, which, yeah, that's a pretty good deal for hot yoga. And then a couple weeks ago on Black Friday, I got a discounted membership for the Ladder strength training app, and I saved $80 USD, which is, again, a really good deal. So because I purchased these on sale, I got a way better deal compared to the full price. If you're considering purchasing a fitness membership or subscription or equipment, Boxing Day is right around the corner, so be sure to take advantage and also mark this in your calendar for next year too. Another tip here is to reach out to customer service if Black Friday or Boxing Day deals aren't advertised publicly, because this was the case with my Ladder subscription. You absolutely can stay fit without having to break the bank. Lesson number 20, your equipment is the problem, not the exercise. Many exercises that feel uncomfortable may actually be the result of using improper equipment. And I learned this because my friend got me a barbell pad for my birthday to use while doing hip thrusts, and this has been such a game changer. I used to hate doing hip thrusts, but now that I have this barbell pad, it makes it so much more comfortable and I can actually focus on the exercise rather than the pain of the barbell digging into me. This is way more comfortable than using the barbell on its own. So if an exercise is causing you physical discomfort, aside from, of course, the discomfort of your muscles that occurs when doing an exercise, you may just need to invest in proper equipment to make yourself more comfortable. All right, the next couple lessons are just kind of random hot takes. They might be unpopular opinions, but things I learned this year regardless. And lesson number 21 is that you should take a vacation from the gym. Vacations are a break from your routine, including your workout schedule. And I learned this because I went on vacation this year. It was the first time I had ever been to an all-inclusive, and I didn't stick to my gym routine. And guess what happened when I got back? Nothing. It didn't change anything. It didn't set me back months and months. I was just a little bit sore the week that I got back to the gym because obviously I had taken a week off. Instead, what I did on vacation was all sorts of fun activities to stay active. I went for walks on the beach. I did yoga on the beach. I did aqua Zumba. I did an aqua spin class, which was really cool. And yes, of course, I tried out the gym for fun on one day, but not because I felt like I had to, just because I wanted to check out the facility. So the takeaway here is to enjoy yourself on vacation. Maybe this lesson actually comes at a good time because maybe you're going on vacation for the holidays. Enjoy this time off. Don't feel obligated to continue your workout routine. Just stay active and move your body to feel good, and remember that the gym will be there when you get back. Lesson 22 is that processed health foods are overrated, and whole foods and meals made at home are the most nourishing and delicious. Earlier this year, I took a trip across the border to the States to do some grocery shopping, so we went to Trader Joe's and Target, and I was really excited to try out all of the health foods that I've seen online that everyone raves about. And it was a really fun experience, but the food that I purchased was super underwhelming when I tried it, and it really didn't live up to the hype. So the lesson here is, yes, you can try new health foods for fun, but don't feel like you're missing out at all if you don't have them. Just save your money on these overpriced health foods and prioritize whole foods in your diet. Lesson number 23 is that reformer Pilates is humbling. Not only is it humbling, but it's also very expensive too. I tried reformer Pilates for the first time this year, and even though I do weightlifting and yoga and I consider myself to be pretty strong and fit, reformer Pilates was hard. It was a totally unique challenge that I had never experienced before. So I didn't get it before, but I can now very much understand how it is a challenging and effective workout and why so many people enjoy doing it. And I can now respect and appreciate the reformer Pilates girls, even though I don't want to be one of them myself. Maybe I will at some point in the future. So if you're underestimating the challenge of the reformer, don't, because it's much harder than you think. And if you want to see what I mean, try it out for yourself. My final lesson. This is unrelated to fitness, but it can be applied in the context of fitness. Lesson number 24 is you define what counts as success. Success isn't defined by achieving external results. You should redefine success so that it's based on your actions and not your outcomes. I learned this lesson through launching my podcast in 2024. And I'm not going to lie, last week when I reviewed my Spotify Wrap, the numbers were underwhelming. I'm not the #1 charting health and fitness podcast. I don't have 1 million downloads. I don't have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, even though I put the 100K silver play button on my vision board, because contrary to what many other people will tell you, just because you put something on your vision board, it does not mean it's just going to magically happen. You actually need to put in the work if you want to see those results. So if I defined success by these metrics, then yeah, I failed. But the problem with defining success in this way is that these are extrinsic goals. These are all things that are out of my control. So what did I accomplish this year that was in my control? Well, I put out 22 podcast episodes. I consistently published on a bi-weekly basis. I spent countless hours working on my social media behind the scenes. I experienced a great deal of fulfillment and enjoyment through the content creation process. I received so many kind and supportive messages from my friends and family and people who listened to the podcast and shared it with other people in their life. And for that, I am so grateful. So you know who you are. Thank you for being such a positive light in my life this year. And some other cool numbers. This podcast was listened to in 31 countries, and it was a top 10 show for 57 listeners, which that's so cool to me. Like 57 of you, I was your top 10 podcast. Thank you so much. It just means the world to me that you believe in this podcast and you enjoy it and you listen to it on a weekly basis. Consider how you can apply this lesson to your fitness journey and to other areas of your life. Don't focus on the outcomes, focus on your actions. Rather than trying to lose 10 pounds, focus on the actions that you're taking every day to work toward improving your health and fitness. Rather than trying to run a sub 1 hour high rocks race, focus on one training session at a time. And rather than trying to squat your body weight, focus on just showing up and practicing squats week after week. Remember that success is achieved by finding joy in the journey and not focusing on the destination. I hope these lessons resonated with you, but your fitness journey likely looked very different from mine in 2024. And so I would encourage you to perform your own end of year reflection at this point. not just for your fitness journey, but also for other areas of your life. I'm going to share some questions to help guide this reflection. A good way to start out is by listing your accomplishments, milestones, and activities that you did each month. And some sources that you can draw this information from would be your camera roll, your calendar, your journal entries, maybe even your social media, and these can help to jog your memory. Once you've listed out these accomplishments, I want you to reflect on the following questions. How do you feel after reviewing your accomplishments? What were your biggest successes and your biggest challenges? What goals did you achieve, partially achieve, and fail to achieve? To what extent did you prioritize your health and fitness this year? And what were the most important lessons you learned this year? Something else you can do if you created a vision board at the beginning of the year is to compare your vision board to the photos that you captured throughout the year. And I want you to reflect on what elements from your vision board aligned with your reality. And did anything surprise you from this comparison? Hopefully these questions are helpful. You could obviously reflect on the questions that resonated the most with you and add in other questions. These were the questions that I used to reflect on my fitness journey this year. I also used these questions in my end of year review in 2023, and they will be the questions that will guide my self-reflection for my overall year, which I'll be completing in the next few weeks. So if you would like to access these journal prompts and more, be sure to check out the show notes where I will link the resource with these prompts. I encourage you to do this self-reflection now, and it will set you up for your 2025 goal setting. And just a preview to the next episode, it will be all about how to actually achieve your fitness goals in 2025. Ending off with the community responses, I asked you these questions over on Instagram at all.ways.active. The first question was, how does your 2024 fitness journey compare to previous years? 46% of you said my best year yet, which is awesome. 38% of you said a bit of a setback, which is totally normal, and you can just try to make 2025 even better. And then 15% of you said the same as other years. So I think that maintaining your progress is also considered a win. When reflecting on this question myself, every year really is so unique, but I do think this might have been one of my best years yet. Next, I asked you to share your biggest fitness accomplishments in 2024. And from those of you who shared, your accomplishments included completing a Hyrox competition, competing in a bodybuilding competition, and completing a half marathon. And I don't think that it's any coincidence that for anyone who shared a fitness accomplishment, it was competing in some sort of competition. This relates to my lesson about training like an athlete. And so if this doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. I would encourage you to sign up for some sort of competition in 2025. And I would say that personally, my biggest accomplishment would have to be completing Hyrox. Big surprise. The next question I asked was, how satisfied are you with your fitness journey progress in 2024? I gave options on a scale ranging from very unsatisfied to very satisfied, and the average response was slightly above somewhat satisfied. So I would say that 2024 was a pretty decent year for most of you. And if you were lower on this scale, let's aim to make 2025 a year where you can look back and say that you were very satisfied with your progress. The last multiple choice question I asked was, which types of fitness activities did you enjoy most in 2024? 74% of you said strength training, 21% of you said group fitness classes, and 5% of you said cardio workouts, with 0% of you saying outdoor activities. I love all of these activities, and I definitely incorporated all of them into my routine this year. But I would have to say that group fitness classes were probably the activity that I enjoyed the most this year because they helped to provide more variety. And like I said, doing hot yoga was something that I had never consistently done before, and that really marked an important milestone in my journey. I asked you what was the most valuable lesson you learned about fitness in 2024, so I'm just going to fire these off. The only bad workout is the one you didn't do. Sometimes it's just about getting there. Consistency is key. It's okay to have days off, just get back to it the next day and don't give up. There's no start or finish. Fitness is an ongoing journey. Prioritize recovery. I battled an injury for weeks until it was magically healed by a week off. And the last answer, I overcame my challenges with body image a bit, and I'm also proud of how much strength I gained. So these are super valuable lessons. Thank you so much for sharing these. It was so interesting to learn about all of the ways that you grew in 2024. Last question was, what was the biggest challenge you overcame on your fitness journey in 2024? I was in a huge rut since the summer ended, blisters from running, just buy the right shoes. and maintaining exercise routines while dealing with minor injuries. It's inevitable that we are going to experience so many different challenges along this journey, but what matters is that you continue to show up and try to find some solutions to overcome these obstacles. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I would encourage you to think about how you can apply these lessons on your own fitness journey, and also be sure to perform your own end of year reflection, because this can be such an important learning opportunity. Like I said, the next episode will be about achieving your goals in 2025, but if you'd like to get a start on goal setting, be sure to listen to episode 11, which is my ultimate goal setting guide, and also be sure to comment the biggest lesson you learned about fitness in 2024. See you next time for the very last episode of 2024. Bye, everyone.